Newly discovered digital evidence. Now we are getting into interesting things that, for me, have more bearing. As detailed in Exhibit A, following Heuermann's arrest, numerous search warrants were executed at his residence, which culminated in the seizure of over 350 electronic devices. 350 electronic devices. Okay, what can it be? USB phones. Yeah, 2 or 3 of those, 4 or 5. Computers, 4, 5, 6 maybe. I don't know, TV, radio. But an analysis of these devices has revealed Heuermann's significant collection of violent, bondage, and torture porn, currently dating back to 1994. The images accessed by Heuermann included, but are not limited to. Okay, not going to say no, not going to say that too. But they largely coincide with how the remains of Costilia, Taylor, and Valerie Mack were discovered. Yeah, I yes, Ghost. 350 electronic devices. I would assume these are hard drives of shape or form. Yeah. Moreover, during the analysis of a hard drive recovered from the basement of Heuermann's residence, the homicide task recently discovered a Microsoft Word document entitled HK 2002 to 2004. The document was discovered in an unallocated space. Allocated space refers to store data that a computer is using. Files are viewable and able to be opened by a user. Unallocated space refers to available or unstructured data, which is not readily viable and able to be opened by a user. Unallocated space frequently contains room for new data or old data that have been deleted, sent to the recycled bin, overwritten, etc. For example, when a user deletes data, many users believe the file has been purged forever. However, deleting a file only tells the computer that the space previously occupied by that file is now available. The deleted data will remain in unallocated space until another file is written over it. Data contained within an unallocated space can be retrieved via computer forensic extraction method called file carving. Yeah, we need holy water. I have no clue how to do that. Cheers. A forensic analysis of the document reveals that it was not only a locally crafted draft, i.e. not downloaded from the internet, but also recovered from a hard drive that indicates it was utilized by Heuermann himself, while the original document appears to have been created in 2000. Based on its original title, this iteration of the Word document titled appears to have been created and modified between 2001 and 2002. Based on the foregoing and the set facts for intra, task force members believe 2000 or 2002 to be a reference to calendar years. Yeah, that's not a big leap. That's not a big leap at all. Task force members also believe, based on the foregoing and the facts set forth infra, that the Microsoft Word document to be a planning document. Yeah, now we're going into the really horrible things. Utilized by Heuermann to methodically blueprint and plan out his kills. Attached here to as Exhibit B. Are you ready? The HK planning document begins with a 4-category section with the underlined headings of problems, supplies, DS, and TRG. See embedded excerpt on the following page. Problems: DNA, tire marks, bloodstains, fingerprints, MO plastic bag cat litter. Witness: trace source of supplies, foot shoe prints, photos, misleaders, police stop, truck stuck, fingerprints in gloves, plastic bags matched to box, hair and fiber. Yeah, this is horrifying. Yeah, this is a very, seems to me to be, if concluded that it is Heuermanns and he is correctly charged and he will be convicted, this is highly pre-planned. This is a high functioning serial killer. Becca Lynn, leaving chat, but we're listening as this lulls me off to sleep. Have a little bit of the sickest today. Oh, poor Becca. Have a good night's sleep. Don't dream about what I'm reading. And here is supplies, booties, lye/acid, police scanner, rope cord, saw cutting tools, hair nets, photo film, burn can, foam drain cleaner, body wash wipes, tops drop clothes, medical gloves, bags, tape, large electric clips, wretched cargo strap. He is building a killing room. This is killing room. DS1, Mill Road, DS2, question marks, dumpster site. Next time recon dumpster locations. TRG, T1, Megan, question mark. Small is good. T-Unk Black. Yeah, this is Dexter before Dexter. This is real, very pre-planned. Horrifyingly pre-planned. Based on the Gilgo homicide task force training and experience, the members believe problems to be a guide on issues to avoid apprehension, supplies to be a reference to what supplies are needed to carry out the serial endings, to avoid apprehension, and to avoid leaving behind DNA evidence. The DS heading appears to be an acronym for dump site, which is corroborated by the discoveries of Valerie Mack and Jessica Taylor at two separate dump sites, i.e. in the vicinity of Mill Road and Ocean Parkway. Under the same heading is a note recording dump the sites, which the task force believe is a reference to how Heuermann disposed of physical evidence in the manner of described info. See dispose of the following section below. TRG appears to be a reference to target or victim. See embedded image below. It is important to note that the known victims thus far are all petite women, which is consistent with the small is good entry in the document, lending further support to the aforementioned conclusion that TRG refers to victims or targets. With regard to the DS section of the document, it is important to note that the human remains of Jessica Taylor discovered in 2003, as well as the remains of Valerie Mack discovered in 2000, were dumped in two locations. One of those locations being the vicinity of Mill Road, which is listed as DS1, Mill Road, in the above Word document. On March 29th, 2011, Miss Taylor's torso, skull and hands recovered near Ocean Parkway, i.e. a second dump site. On April 4th, 2011, Miss Mack's skull, hands and right foot were also recovered near Ocean Parkway, also a second dump site. The recent discovery of this document prompted the April 2024 cadaver search of the Manorville area, which did not yield the recovery of additional sets of human remains, thereby reinforcing the task force members' belief that the HK planning document refers to Heuermann's preparations for either Jessica Taylor and or Valerie Mack. The HK planning document on Heuermann's computer then delves into a 3-category section with headings of pre-prep, prep, and post-event. Yeah, things are not improving here. The embedded excerpt below. Pre-prep. VEC INSP, vehicle inspection. Engage T1, recon DS1, locate DS2. Weather report. Recon video cams. Recon Pixon for video cams. Prep. Setup stage. Holding area. Build table. Crossbar. Hardpoint. Post-event. Destroy file. Change tires. Burn gloves. Dispose of pics. Have story set. Yeah, I don't see how, with the totality of the circumstances, this is an extremely good case for the prosecution. Which I've said before in previous streams about this, that they actually pre-plan discovery handovers with the defense. This is a prosecution who isn't afraid of the facts at all. They pre-plan when and where and how they will. Just, here's what you got so far. Here you go. That is a strong case. That is what every prosecutor should aim for. If that is not how you conduct yourself pre-trial, before the trial starts, then you know you don't have a strong case. I wonder what hard point in his prep means. I don't know, but setup stage, holding area, build table, crossbar. That tells me he put these women on a table where they were held down with a crossbar. Which leads me to believe that these victims was probably alive up until the dismemberment. The Gilgo Homicide Task Force believe pre-prep to be a guide on steps to take in advance of a homicide, i.e. inspecting his vehicle, engaging the target, conducting a recon or survey of video surveillance cameras in pertinent areas including the pick zone, i.e. location where a victim is picked up, and checking the weather to ensure for optimal conditions. Prep, on the other hand, appears to be reference steps taken closer in time to the homicide, i.e. setting up staging area, holding area, and table crossbar hardpoint for the victim. Specifically, the prep section has 5 entries. Setup stage, holding area, build table, crossbar, and hardpoint. The Gilgo Homicide Task Force members are aware that a crossbar is often placed underneath tables to provide further structural support for heavier objects placed on the table. Okay, that's also correct. Additionally, the task force members are also aware that a hardpoint refers in the field of sexual suspension bondage to a fixed attachment points in the ceiling that supports the weight of an individual being suspended off the ground. Okay. Can't read that. Additionally, post-event, I will link to this document after this is done. So if you, for some odd reason, really want to read this again. Additionally, post-event appears to reference a checklist of tasks following the event or homicide to avoid apprehension, i.e., destroy file, change tires, burn gloves, dispose of pics taking off the victim, and have story set, e.g., alibi, story for family upon their return, or law enforcement should an inquiry be made. The HK planning document continues. Yeah, okay. Continues to further expound on preparatory measures such as specific recon, steps taken, recon reports, and takedown pickup, section embedded below. Packaging for transport. See body prep. And steps to inhibit victim identification and avoid leaving behind DNA evidence. See body prep and dispose of the following, section embedded below. Yay. Recon reports. 1. Vidcams on live route 112 to route 1110 equals 33. Oh, okay, I have no idea. Vidcams on SS Parkway. T1 info cell. Okay. Take down pickup. Hunt too long. Seen in area too long. Remember, don't charge gas. Maybe he watched. No, he couldn't have watched the Jodi Arias trial. This was 10 years before. Recon for vidcams in pickup area next time. Next time? The note of hardpoint refers to suspension bondage. Okay. Body prep. Wash body inside and all cavities. Remove trace evidence, fingerprints, hair. Remove trace DNA. Remove ID marks. Remove marks from torture. Remove head and hands, package for transport. Yeah, Mr. Heuermann, you're fucked. Yeah, you're fucked. With the other evidence, of even with the mitochondrial, this binds you to the crime, if you excuse the pun. Dispose of the following: tools and devices, T1 clothes and personal items. I'm just checking. Let's see if I can find. That sounds like level 1 PPE. Yeah, it is. Now, it doesn't say this, but if T1 clothes and personal items are level 1 PPE, this is it. Yeah, this is clearly, yeah. Now, this is speculation that T1 clothes means level 1 PPE. Thank you, John. This is too spicy for YouTube. Here's some cash, because ain't no way this is getting monetized. Love you, Nick. Try to keep your stomach. Thank you, John Commune, for your $10 super chat. That is very much appreciated. Don't worry about my stomach. I mean, I do labor law. I've seen extremely horrifying accidents and injuries, but now this is a different kind of icky. It is. Drop clothes, wipes and towels, props, toys, wood items, anything that touched T1. Yeah. What you were, destroy book and computer files, burn glass, dispose of box of plastic bass to avoid trace. He's very, very well planned, but the prosecutors really thanks this guy for writing this in a computer and not pen and paper and then burning paper. The body prep section above includes a note to remove head and hands, which clearly relates to the condition of Jessica Taylor's and Valerie Mack's remains, as both were decapitated and dismembered. Additionally, each of these victims' remains, as well as the remains of the Gilgo 4, were indeed packaged for transport, as this section indicates to do, further increasing the significance of this document's presence on Heuermann's laptop computer. Finally, this section also includes a note to remove ID marks tattoos. As noted supra, the examination of Ms. Taylor's body in July 2003 indicated numerous sharp linear injuries to the victim's skin, specifically around where Ms. Taylor's tattoo had been located, which investigators believe were intended to inhibit the identification of Ms. Taylor's tattoo and therefore Ms. Taylor in a manner consistent with the HK planning document. Furthermore, they disposed of the following section list: destroy computer files as a checklist item. The presence of this HK planning document in unallocated space demonstrates Heuermann's efforts to destroy or delete computer files in a manner that is consistent with this notation. As set forth in Exhibit A consistent theme of Heuermann's computer activity is the use of forensic wiping software, inter alia, in a manner that is consistent with this notation in HK planning document. Okay, so he did use forensic wiping software. Okay. Oof. In the things to remember section, there are notes indicating steps to take next time, i.e. considering a hit to the face or neck next time, or using a heavy rope for the neck, as light rope broke on the strap of being tightened. Heuermann further opines on the importance of sleep to not only avoid problems, but also to increase that what Heuermann refers to as playtime. All right, things to remember. Sound travels, i.e. bird outside, control the amount of air in and out to control the noise made. Get sleep before hunt, too tired creates problems. Hit harder, too many hit to take down, consider a hit to the face or neck next time for takedown. More sleep and noise control equals more playtime. Use push pins to hang drop clothes from ceiling, not tape. Use heavy rope for neck, light rope broke under stress of being tightened. All right. Now, yeah, Mr. Heuermann, you're fucked, in my opinion. If this actually can, in a court of law, is admissible and is provably by you, yeah, you're fucked. As set forth above and embedded here below, the Gilgo Homicide Task Force members believe that these references to next time indicate Heuermann's prior experiences and what changes to implement moving forward. Yeah, we already saw that. Moreover, the references in the Things to Remember section to utilize push pins to hang drop clothes from ceiling and not tape, as well as manifested concerns regarding sound travel, indicate the referenced incidents would have occurred indoors and likely inside of residence, which is a controlled environment that Heuermann would not only be familiar with, but also an area where Heuermann would have access to said tools and supplies. Drop cloths would also serve the twin purposes of limiting the spread of forensic evidence, such as blood, to a confined area, as well as controlling sound travel, which would lead to more playtime, quote unquote, which is believed to be a reference to acts perpetrated on victims. Additionally, with Heuermann's family vacationing out of states, defendant would have had unfettered time and exclusive access to the target residence, allowing defendant ample opportunity to execute and clean up after these crimes. Finally, the HK planning document on Heuer's laptop computer includes a notes section. See embedded image below. Oh, great. Notes: spur of the moment. Cover: Stockholm Syndrome. The more you do, the more clues you give. Look at the painting. What, why, who? Organized versus disorganized. PG 162. Okay. Disorganized. Dead. All right. The investigation to date has established the source of these notes, i.e. the Mindhunter paperback book authored by John Douglas, specifically the first edition published in 1996 concerning the criminal profiling of serial killers. For example, the notes section of the HK planning document includes the following notation. Page 162 to page 163. Yeah, thank you, Ghost. Yeah, page 162 of said book is indeed reference sex substitution. As Douglas describes the rather horrible, okay, can't say that, but no intercourse. Okay, can't say that either. On page 63, Douglas opines that the perpetrator of such a crime, i.e., would be a disorganized killer who would be compulsive and perhaps living with his parents. Accordingly, this notation contained in the HK planning document is consistent with the aforementioned book in page number and subject matter. The notes section in the HK planning document also includes the following notation. PD 175. Multition equals disorganized. In page 175 of the first edition Mindhunter book, Douglas describes a woman screams and shortly thereafter how the woman's... Okay. Douglas further asserts on page 175 of said book that this is sign of disorganized personality type. Accordingly, this notation contained in HK planning documents is again consistent with the aforementioned book in page number and subject matter. The note section of the HK planning documents also contains the following notation. Look at the painting. What, why, who? On page 19 of said book, Douglas notes that while he was still at the FBI, he always advised his agents, quote, if you want to understand the artist, you have to look at the painting. We've looked at many paintings over the years and talked exclusively to the most accomplished artists. Accordingly, the note above, contained in Heuermann's laptop computer, to look at the painting, yet again point as the aforementioned book as the source of Heuermann's commentary. Finally, the other notations contained in the HK planning document, i.e. spur of the moment, cover, Stockholm Syndrome, the more you do, the more clues you give, are also each contained in the said book, all pointing to it as the source of Heuermann's notations. And here it says Stockholm Syndrome is a psychological condition that explains why victims and hostages sometimes develop a psychological bond or empathy for their capturer or abuser. This is false. This is completely false. Stockholm Syndrome is not an official psychological condition. It's a theory developed by a Swedish psychologist named Niels Bejerot, who is probably one of the most evil men in history. He hated women. He despised women. He despised people of other ethnic origins. He was a racist fuck, to say it bluntly. But he had the politicians' ears at the time, and the cops, he trained cops in stuff like how to intimidate witnesses to say what you want. This man is Niels Bejerot. Luckily, he's dead and has been for a long time. Sadly, he is still very much influential in Swedish politics and how police do their job. When I went through his theories and the absolute lack of actual studies he made everything up, including Stockholm Syndrome. I have to do a separate stream about the Stockholm Syndrome because this man, Niels Bejerot, pure evil. But that's another story. The foregoing is corroborated in part by Heuermann's possession of other serial killer books authored by John Douglas. During the initial search warrant executed in last year at his residence, the task force observed that Heuermann possessed in his home office the book entitled The Cases That Haunt Us, which outlines the facts, evidence, and victimology of several notable serial ender cases. Okay. I will not make everybody afraid, but I think I have this book as well. The difference seems to be that I have no interest in bondage whatsoever. Or killing, for that matter. Or generally, I don't like crimes. I just don't.